year's gains. It's been a solid year for the index. S&P up 15%, the NASDAQ up 21%. Let's check in with somebody who does this stuff for a living. Shana, Sissel, founder and CEO of Banríon Capital Management. What's the discussion you're having these days, Shana, with your clients about, hey, maybe what to do as we think about 2026?
First, let's have a discussion about the fact that neither one of you have seen the movie F1. It is phenomenal.
I know.
It is one of my favorite movies that have come out in a long time. It is very much in the same vein as Top Gun Maverick.
Okay.
And you should see it because it is that good. Or
wow.
The biggest fan.
That's a good
take point,
there.
I have now watched it about 25 times because I have enjoyed it that much.
Brad Pitt fan, I guess.
Not really a Brad Pitt fan, but I actually liked it better than Top Gun Maverick, which probably is going to get me some hate in the comments.
Wow,
but,
interesting. Those are good takes,
I really enjoyed the movie, and you should really watch it
there we go.
It is that good.
Train ride.
Anyways, back to markets. So in terms of what we're telling clients, obviously Banríon is a firm that focuses more on the alternative space. So markets like this are advantageous for kind of the gospel that we preach. We really discuss using alternative investment strategies as risk management tools. And we believe that the market's going to be volatile through the end of the year and into the beginning of next year, which means that thoughtful investors should be considering opportunities to buy on weakness, but also looking for ways to diversify risk in their portfolios to things that fall into the spectrum of alternatives. So that's really the conversations we're having.
So we've got basically all but priced in a 25 basis point cut for the Federal Reserve next week. In the assumption that this does happen, how are you thinking about investment opportunities as we head into 2026?
So I think that there will be a cut next week. I wasn't as certain about it prior, but today's ADP numbers have given me pause and made me think that perhaps this is the data that will kind of push any naysayers that were reluctant to cut in October to get on board for a December cut. In terms of how that impacts my positioning, I'm just going to repeat what I kind of started off saying. I do believe that this is going to lead to volatility. I do think there's weakness in the economy. And so, again, we're suggesting that investors, advisors talk to their clients about ways to diversify risk in portfolios and also look at opportunities in the market that we think are long-term trends that are seeing some softness today. Things like AI, crypto, and things of that nature, I think, are areas where nibbling and beginning to build a position makes sense.
So you mentioned crypto here. That's certainly it's always in the news, I guess. But the volatility and the sharp price down from the recent high of about $126,000 really caught people's attention. How do you kind of put that into context?
Well, I don't know why it is only now catching people's attention. This is not an unusual type of event in crypto. We see these kind of sell-offs often. My thoughts on the current environment for crypto is it's different than when we saw these types of events in the past, largely because there's broader institutional adoption and greater access through the spot ETFs. So I am inclined to think that this is a good entry point for crypto. It certainly helped a lot of buffer funds in the crypto space, which launched with a vengeance this year. I don't know that those are great products if you really want true diversification that's offered by crypto or the potential for the long-term upside of crypto. But I do think that seeing a 32% downturn over mere months is certainly an entry point. If you look back historically, anytime we've seen big sell-offs like this, it was an excellent entry point for the next leg up.
What's your take on small caps?
So small caps are experiencing obviously a rebound, but one of the reasons why it's been an interesting category to watch has been related to just structural changes within the markets that have had a more significant impact on small caps. Broadly speaking, I'm talking about IPO activity and the privatization of a lot of companies. There's less public companies today than there were a decade ago, 2 decades ago, and so on. And that typically impacts the small cap space more than anything. Typically, IPOs come to the market sooner. They start as small caps and then move up. And so you have this whole rising stars, falling knives scenario, but it's been a lot more falling knives than rising stars in the last 5 to 10 years. And so structurally, there's been changes going on in small caps. That said, I think that there's a lot to like about small caps, fundamentally speaking. And more importantly, to do well in small caps, historically, the research shows that active management is the way to go. And we've seen that kind of be the case in the last year.
All right, Shana, thank you so much for joining us. We always appreciate getting a few minutes of your time. Shana Sissel, founder and CEO of Banríon Capital Management. She's there in Chicago.